Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on InspireSmall.biz. What's Indy's Trusted Servant? Well, that's me, Danny O'Malia, Indy's Trusted Servant. I do customer service training and keynote speaking about customer service. In fact, I've got a couple of keynotes coming up with the Indianapolis Indians, who are our guests today, coming up in the near future. It's all about the culture of the organization. I learned all of that from the hand of the master, my late father, Joe O'Malia, back in the O'Malia Food Market days. But even before that, when I was a kid, when he had a little grocery store in Broad Ripple, where the Vanguard Bar is now. It had one cash register, 5 employees. One of them was a 9 and 10-year-old kid, and he lost that store. He came back 10 years later and successfully launched O'Malia Food Markets with 9 stores eventually and almost 1,000 employees. And one thing I learned from my dad was never, ever, ever give up. At any rate, I also learned about culture from my dad. And if you're interested in my customer service trainings or keynotes, why, give me a call at 317-413-9062. What's the Indy's Trusted Servant Show on InspireSmall.biz? Well, I like to describe it as lively local small biz and community talk. And our guest today is Chayne Reiter with the Indianapolis Indians, and that kind of defines small biz and community because the Indians are great at both. Chayne, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Danny. Appreciate it.
We had you last year. I always have the Indians at the beginning of the year, and baseball season is upon us.
It is upon us.
I'm really fired up about that. Tell the folks a little bit about Chayne Reiter before you got to the Indians, where you grew up, where you went to school, what you studied, how you got into this, your PR with the Indians, right?
Yep, media relations, PR.
Media relations, yeah. How you got into all that, so go.
Yes, my background, I'm from the university, from Iowa originally, went to the University of Iowa and was a journalism major there for 2.5 years. I actually played college soccer and 1 year of baseball at a junior college in Ottumwa, Iowa, Indian Hills Community College.
Oh gosh, are they going to get to keep their name?
We'll see. We'll have more on that later.
Okay.
But yeah, I went to Indian Hills out of college. I played 4 sports through high school in really all but wrestling. I had college opportunities. Football was on the table for me to go to Drake. They're actually in the same conference as Butler.
Right.
But I was this size coming out of high school. So I thought, if I'm getting knocked around on the football field in high school, I probably should not play college football because
smart move.
Long-term health it's not going to be good for me. So I went the soccer and baseball route, and then once those careers came to an end after my sophomore years, when I transferred to Iowa there in Iowa City, became a Hawkeye. That's the team I grew up rooting for, and from there knew that I wanted to stay involved in sports. Didn't really know in what capacity. I grew up listening to Chicago Cubs games and Pat Hughes.
Okay, I got to ask you, have you been giving all the Hoosier fans a little grief, or do you stay away from that?
We absolutely have. We have 2 other Hawkeyes in the office. One that's in the communications department, and then her brother actually interned with us a couple of years ago. He came on full time. He's in our corporate sales staff. So we have 2 siblings that are also Iowa grads. So we took out all the fellow Hoosiers in the office as a little consolation prize for what's happened over the last week. Took out their women on a buzzer beater, which that was a fantastic game. And then the men the other night down in Bloomington.
That was a whooping.
Close.
That was a whooping.
Yeah. But yeah, back to just my path to Indianapolis. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do other than I want to work in sports. I want to be involved in sports.
Was that your major? Sport?
I was a journalism major, a sports studies minor.
Okay, gotcha.
So was doing some learnings there in the sports community, but I ended up getting my foot in the door with the athletic department, was part of their event management staff, so some of the pregame, halftime, postgame setup.
Great experience.
Setup and breakdown, yeah. And I quickly learned that wasn't the route for me in athletics, but it opened me up to, here are all the possibilities in sports. You have ticket sales, you have corporate partnerships, you have media relations, the route that I ended up taking.
Yeah.
So I kind of found my way after 2 semesters working in the athletic department that I want to call games on air if I have that opportunity, and I want to be involved with the players because I'm familiar with playing so many sports and being in a clubhouse or being in a locker room that I know what those guys are going through, not on the professional level, but at least coming up through middle school, high school, and in the early years there in college. So ended up landing an internship going into my senior year. That was my first minor league baseball opportunity.
And where was that?
I moved to Virginia. Southwest Virginia was in the Appalachian League. one of 10 teams out there. I worked for the Pulaski Mariners, so it was a rookie advanced team for Seattle. Pitcher by the name of Edwin Diaz, who now closes games for the New York Mets. He was the ace on that team back in 2013. So hard to believe it's already been
away his youth here.
It's hard to believe it's already been 10 years that I've been in minor league baseball, but I've loved every minute. So I spent one season out in Virginia, went back to Iowa, graduated that December in 13, went to the winter meetings, landed a job with the Clinton Lumber Kings, and then I went west to Reno for 2 years in 15 and 16. So I've seen rookie ball, I've seen A ball, I've seen another version of AAA out west, and the playing at elevation is a little different.
Why'd you leave Reno to come to Indy?
Being from Iowa, I think
get back in the Midwest.
I wanted to come home.
Yeah.
I've got 2 brothers that both live in Iowa, some nieces and nephews that I wanted to be closer to. So when I was young, 23, 24, when I moved west, I loved that opportunity because what better excuse to move far away from home? It's, hey, Mom, Dad,
got a job.
I'm chasing a career. I got a job. I have to move to Reno. So that drive west on I-80 was about 24 hours from Iowa.
Boring.
Then when I came back this way, it was the same route, except I added about 7 hours. So a 30-plus hour drive to Indianapolis. But I've been here since 2017. Been with the Indians from day one since I moved here to the Circle City, and I've loved it.
Was it always in the HR area?
Yeah, in the PR realm.
PR, I'm sorry.
Came on as the baseball communications manager, which was really focused on really the stories coming in and out of the clubhouse, pitching those stories on players and coaches and staff to media just to get some coverage to keep us relevant in season, but also maybe a couple hits in the off season.
Well, if you know me well, you know I'm a huge sports fan, and my first sports love was the Indianapolis Indians. And when I was 7 years old, 1954, that's the first season I really remember. My dad took me to Indians games from the time I was a baby, but I really got hooked in 1954 because they had a great team that year and that great pitcher Herb Score. We don't have time to get into all the Herb Score stuff, but I remember everything from then on.
You saw a guy by the name of Roger Maris a couple years later.
The interesting thing about Maris is he only hit about 18 home runs in the old, what was then called Victory Field, what later became Busch Stadium. The difference, the short porch in Yankee Stadium and the small fence versus our long porch and our big brick wall. He was hitting balls off the wall that would have gone into the stands in Yankee Stadium. Yeah, he was a great hitter. And they had a great left-handed pitcher named Bud Daly who had a great major league career. And they won the triple. My dad took me and my little brother to see them win the final game of the AAA World Series over the Rochester Red Wings, 4-0. We had a left fielder named Dave Pope who also played in the majors for a long time. So I go way back with the Indians, and that brings me to my relationship with the Indians, season ticket holder. I do keynotes for the Indians game day staff often. I'm doing one this month. And I want to congratulate, I've already written Matt and Randy to congratulate the staff, and Bruce, to congratulate them for keeping the nickname Indians. So tell us about that from your point of view.
Yeah, the partnership with the Miami Nation of Indians of Indiana announced here within the last couple of weeks, toward the end of February. The big thing released in the Indy Star first, and we had a press release to follow shortly afterwards. But within that, if you read into the details, there's a land acknowledgement. What's going to be new at Victory Field with this partnership? It's not just not just us shaking a hand, kissing a baby, and calling it good.
Yeah.
It's, hey, we're partnering and we want to do this the right way. If we're going to keep the name, we're going to do it the right way. And we found a group that wanted to back us and thought, they were somewhat appalled that people did want us to change the name.
I was appalled too, but
you can see the quote from Chief Buchanan in his stance, and he speaks for most of that Native American group up there in Peru, Indiana. So we've had conversations here over the last 2.5 years, found a group that was willing to back us, and we're excited to see where it goes. Like with any partnership, in this one with the Miamis, we want them to be long term.
Will there be some kind of display at the ballpark?
Yeah, I think here over the next couple of years, I don't know about this year. We're still trying to figure out exactly what the educational piece looks like.
Yeah.
We've gone back and forth with the Miamis, and is there a historical timeline about their tribe that we can somehow incorporate into a learning experience at Victory Field. This year, you're probably going to see some of that just run on the video board in a pregame loop or some between inning. You've got 90-second or 2-minute breaks between
So
teams
it'll
changing
start
the field.
next year,
So,
and it'll
be a slow reveal this year. You'll have the land acknowledgement that was in the Indy Star. It'll be read in our pregame loop every single night.
Is the Indy Star? This is a political question, okay? So if you don't want to answer this or you don't know, but is the Indy Star going to start covering the Indians at all, other than to cover this issue? And will they refer to you as the Indians now?
Well,
Do you know?
I think they're going to go back. They haven't released anything, I think, on their end about using our nickname. But to my understanding, the piece that ran a couple of weeks ago when they announced that we had partnered with the Miami Nation of Indians out of Indiana, they used the Indians throughout that article.
They did throughout that.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm not a big fan of the Indianapolis Star. Everybody knows it. It isn't the Indianapolis Star. And when you have high school football games that are played on Friday and you don't get the scores till Sunday, that's a bad organization. But I'm anxious to see what they do. I don't know why they don't cover you or the Fuel more, but they don't. And that's just the way they don't have the manpower.
Yep.
Well, anyway, I've told all the people that will listen to me, if we're going to change the name of the baseball team, we better change the name of the city and the state. That might be kind of hard to do.
That would be difficult. I would think.
Well, let's talk about what else is new at the ballpark, or what goes on that people have been loving. You were saying before we sat down, looks like we're going to have a pretty good team this year. Let's start with that.
Yeah, the roster is loaded. The Pirates are major league team now for, you go back to 2005 when that AAA affiliation began with them.
Yep.
We're continuing that all the way through at least 2030. So it's our longest.
Wow.
It's our longest continuous partnership with one major league club in franchise history. This is season number 121 for us if you go all the way back to 1902. So the roster, we sent a few guys up last year, and we have over the last few years, to name a few. Brian Hayes,
Josh
third
Bell.
baseman. Josh Bell we sent. He's out of their organization now. Mitch Keller finally found himself at the major league level. He had dominated at every level in the minor leagues, just had some maturity and some mental issues to get over that final hump. He looked really good in the second half last year with the Buccos. So he's graduated to the big leagues, and they expect big things from him to kind of anchor that staff. Roansy Contreras was a young right-hander when they sent Jamison Tyone to the New York Yankees a couple of years ago, January of 2021. Contreras was the headline piece to come back in that deal. They got 4 guys back. They didn't know that he would become what he is, but now he's right there with Mitch Keller as a good 1-2 punch in that Pirates rotation. So that's what's come through here over the last couple of years. What can you expect this year? You're not going to see O'Neal Cruz playing shortstop at Victory Field anymore. The 6'7" unicorn, if you will, he can run, he can hit for power, he can throw harder than any infielder in Major League Baseball. He can do a little bit of everything, very flashy. He's going to be their everyday shortstop in the big leagues. He's gone. Who's behind him?
By the way, my 18-year-old grandson, he's a freshman at Purdue. Mm-hmm. He said, Pop, when you take me to the Indians game, I want to go see O'Neal Cruz play. So he's with the Pirates now.
Yeah, okay. He'll be their everyday shortstop. We had him for the first 2.5 months last year. He went up in mid-June and spent the rest of the season in the big leagues.
Exciting player.
Yeah, and they shipped Kevin Newman, who was their everyday shortstop there for a couple of years, came through Indy back in 17-18. They sent him to the Reds, so he's probably starting for the Reds every day.
Great shortstop.
They gave the keys basically to O'Neal Cruz, saying, "Hey, we want you to man the position. Let's see what you got."
Be interesting. So, what about promotions at the ballpark?
Yeah, a lot of
Before
promotion.
we run out of time, what's new, what's old, but that people like? Like the cheap Monday or whatever. Go to it.
Yeah, I'll stick with some larger themes. Prospects nights have been popular. We started those back in 2018. It's where we honor our AAA affiliation with the Pirates. So we wear Indians uniforms that are Pirates themed in that black and gold attire. Yep. So we have some bobblehead giveaways.
So is that a weekly? Is that at a certain night of the week?
May 19th, May 20th, and then September 8th and September 9th.
Okay.
So it's just a specialty night. It's four nights throughout the season. We're hoping to have team autographs again to return on the concourse. There's a couple bobblehead giveaways. Cruises will be given away on May 20th.
Oh.
And then Jihuan Bei, our team MVP from last year, his will be given away on September 9th.
Those bobblehead giveaways, you have to be the first
First 1,000 through the gates.
First 1,000,
Yep.
got to get there on May 20th, get the O'Neill Cruz
O'Neill
bobblehead
Cruz.
for my grandson.
Yep,
He's a bobblehead freak.
That's one to mark the calendar. If you get into the daily deals that we have, you've got the Tuesday dollar menu.
Tuesday dollar menu.
Hot dogs, potato chips, Cracker Jack, popcorn, peanuts, all for $1 each at our concessions.
The lines are long.
The lines are long. We've got over a dozen Tuesday dollar menus this year. We're extending that to Memorial Day as well. On Monday, May 29th, we actually have a home game too.
That's unusual.
That is. The scheduling typically, if you go through our 2023 calendar and you look at last year's as well, every Monday for the most part is an off day.
Being here, having a game the day after the race.
Yeah.
Hope it doesn't rain on race day.
We hope it doesn't rain on race day. We hope our staff is recovered from race day as well to work that game. But yeah, so you've got your Tuesday dollar menus. We've got some Wednesday day games as well. 1:35 starts in the afternoon.
Those are popular.
A new promotion this year as well. We have 4 Wednesday night games. We did have those for the past couple of years. We add a little, something to mark down on the calendar if you're looking for a cheap ticket. Tickets are already cheap. They're unchanged from last year. $12 for the lawn, $15 reserve,
That's just awesome.
$18 box.
Yep.
Half off tickets for those Wednesday night games.
Really?
You can sit on the lawn for $6. You can sit in reserve seating for, it's $15, so $7.50. $9 tickets to sit behind home plate. That's tough to beat. That's 4 dates this year.
The first
one
there.
is May 31st. That's a Wednesday night
Okay.
game. We've got a few later on in the
That is
season.
great.
And then we've got Thirsty Thursdays, $2 Pepsis, $3 domestics, $5 premium and craft draft beers. That's our Circle City nights as well.
So $5 for Sun King Osiris.
Correct.
Right. All
Yep.
right.
And then Friday fireworks.
Fireworks
as
still
always.
Friday night. Yeah.
A fun promotion. And then our Kids Eat Free Sundays to wrap it up. One new drink item for that Kids Eat Free Sunday. It used to be a hot dog, bag of chips, bottle of water. It's a hot dog, bag of chips, and a Capri Sun juice pouch.
Okay.
So you get a little flavor with that last drink.
There you go. What about, you still got the Knothole Gang?
We
for
do.
The kids? Tell folks about that.
Knothole Kids Club is it's an awesome promotion. I don't know how long it goes back, but
a long way.
It goes a long way because I've run into people that my age or even older than me, where I'm, have you been to Victory Field recently? Or they see me wearing an Indians polo or a quarter zip out in public, and do you work for the Indians? And they can kind of tell when you're dressed the part. And so I'm like, yeah. Have you been to a game recently? And they're like, no, but 20 years ago I was a Knothole member. My parents signed me up. I was in the Knothole Kids Club, and I'm like, when was that?
So how's
90s,
that work?
80s?
Tell people how that works.
So it's a $20 one-time fee. It gets you access to every game, 75 Indians games all summer long. You have a chance to run the bases after every Sunday home game. That's a fun part of it. You get an exclusive Knothole Kids Club t-shirt. We have some exclusive giveaways that are catered to our Knothole members. Really just a little bit of everything for those Knothole kids to give them an all-inclusive package.
What a deal, $20.
You can't beat
Mom
that.
and Dad can take you to, as many games as you can go to.
As many as you want.
Right. I can remember as a kid at the old ballpark, general admission for kids was a quarter.
Going to some old programs, you see some old prices, ticket prices back in the good old days, the concession prices. Not the dollar menu today is a lot like what the menu was 40, 50 years ago. Everything was $1.
One of the things I wanted to mention, we talked about this off the air. The Indians lost one of my great friends, Cal Burleson, since last season, and I'm sure he's going to be missed greatly. And I used to work with him back in the day when we had O'Malley night, one night a year, and just. But the Schumacher family and Randy and Cal and all of you guys, you've done a great job with the franchise. The attendance has been fantastic. I'm sure glad we're past the whole COVID thing when there was no season at all. That had to be a big panic. And the Indians, this is one of the things I love about the Indians. They managed to keep the whole staff together with no games all summer, right?
We did.
That is a miracle.
Yeah, it was. We had, I'm trying to think back to 2020. We had some travel baseball games as Indiana's economy slowly opened up there in June, July. Once we could have, 1,000 or 1,500 people in park, that's when we started having those movie nights. It was the first year where we did the golf links at Victory
Yeah,
Field.
yeah.
We had a car show.
You still got the mutt strut?
We had Mutt Strut.
Yeah.
I mean, we did a little bit of everything because we had an open palette, an open canvas of, hey, there's no Indians baseball. Here's a chance to just throw things at the wall and see what sticks, and a few things did over the next couple of years.
I almost forgot. Tell the folks about the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah. You cannot forget about the Savannah Bananas.
The Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
They certainly are. They're coming to Victory Field, coming to Indianapolis, back-to-back nights, Thursday, June 29th, Friday, June 30th. We are expecting sellouts both nights.
Tickets are going like hotcakes, right?
Tickets are going like hotcakes. They're not open yet to the general public. They have taken care of our season ticket holders like yourself.
I got to call Matt and get that done.
They've sold some group tickets as well. But beyond that, with every location they're going to, this is part of the Banana Ball World Tour. The first time they've done this, they're traveling the entire country. I think it's 32 different cities. Some multi-night cities like Indianapolis will have there in late June. But the Bananas, it's Banana Ball. It's weird. It's different. The games are short. They like to keep them to 2 hours or less. There's a lot of fun packed into it.
Who do they play against? Do they have a team like the
Washington? Party Animals.
The Party Animals. Because the Globetrotters had the Washington Generals.
Correct.
I can remember seeing Wilt Chamberlain play for the Globetrotters.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So with the Globetrotters, the thing about the Harlem Globetrotters is they always won.
Right.
It was always part of the act of,
right.
They're never going to lose to Washington. Well, in this case with the Bananas, they play the Party Animals. Banana Ball is just the rules and the structure of how they play the game. So there's 9 different rules that they've added that are different from our traditional baseball.
Yeah.
They play within those rules, and whoever comes out ahead is your winner. It's not staged for the Bananas to win every single night. They could lose 10 straight for all we know.
Well, for all we care.
Yeah, for all we care. You're just there for the entertainment aspect.
So June 19th and 20th.
June 29th and 30th.
29th and 30th. Yep. And when do those go on sale?
They typically go about, at least the Bananas have told us, they like to, if they've got Indianapolis as a city and they've got those dates on the 29th, 30th, they'll target about 60 days in advance. So I would think mid to late April is when you can expect general public access to those
Give us
tickets.
the website to buy tickets or find out more about the Indians.
About the Indians, just IndyIndians.com. Right there on our homepage, we've got our media wall up right now that has our single game tickets graphic. You click that.
Schedule is out.
That takes you to the full schedule, all 75 home games, every promotion. I only got into a few of them. Every promotion is outlined there in great detail for you to find out the Tuesday Dollar Menu, when those are happening, the Thirsty Thursdays, the Friday Fireworks, the character appearances that we have. We're having a Friends Night. We're having Kate Flannery from The Office. She's coming out.
Oh.
The Office, a long-time show.
Okay.
One of my personal favorites. She's coming out to sign autographs and throw out a first pitch. So some really fun things on deck at Victory Field, and just another year of Indians baseball that we can't wait for.
That is fantastic. Season opens what day?
Friday, March 31st.
Wow, March 31st.
I said this is season 121. This is the first time we'll ever play March baseball at Victory Field.
I didn't know. So wait a minute. This show is going to go up on April 2nd.
Yeah.
So we've already opened up.
Yep. We'll have opened up.
International League, all still the same teams as the last few years,
As the last
right?
couple of years, yeah, with the restructuring of the minor leagues, 20 teams in the IL, 10 in the PCL. You're going to see the traditional ones we're used to: Toledo Mud Hens, Columbus Clippers, Louisville Bats.
Yes.
Those are the 3 that we'll play the most, but some of those new faces coming in the last couple of years. The Iowa Cubs.
Memphis.
Getting the Cubs in town. The Memphis Redbirds, the Cardinals AAA affiliate. You get them to come to Indianapolis.
And you see a lot of Cardinal fans when you go see Memphis play.
When you see the Louisville Bats, the Memphis Redbirds, or the Iowa Cubs in town, it's almost like the Indians are the away team.
Yeah, sometimes.
Because there's a lot of fans of those major league clubs.
Yeah. The new Busch Stadium, which is now, 23 years old, the new Victory Field, I should say. We got just a couple of minutes. For those of you who are new to Indianapolis, the old ballpark was called Busch Stadium, B-U-S-H. That was after the Indians owner who had passed away, Donnie Bush. But before that, it was called Victory Field because they had a kind of a fan survey during World War II. We're going to rename the ballpark. What do we want it to be? Victory in World War II. So it was Victory Field until about 67 or 68 when they named it after Donnie Bush, who had passed away. And Donnie Bush played on the Yankees with Babe Ruth. Did you know that?
I did. Donnie
Yes.
Bush did a little bit of everything for the Indians in particular. He
Yes.
played, he coached, he managed, he was in the front office, and eventually became team owner.
Team owner. I can remember my dad pointing him out sitting behind the first base dugout back when I was a little kid. So once again, the Indians website, pretty easy.
Yep, IndyIndians.com. And then the phone number you can call. If you want tickets or just more information, 317-269-3545. A ticket rep can connect with them, learn more about what's going on at Victory Field this year.
Great. Next week, our guest on the Indy's Trusted Servant Show will be John DeLucia, a good friend, and he's with Citizen State Bank. He dubs himself the Hoosier Banker. So we're going to talk about Citizen State Bank and the Hoosier Banker and the banking business in general. Chayne Reiter with my team, the Indianapolis Indians. Thanks for being here.
We'll see you on opening night.
Go Tribe.